It's a mucky period. You're feeling pain on the inside and you don't know what the pain is. You find yourself crying. You don't know why you're crying. One of my former clients told me she used to drive to work while crying.
Yeah.
And she didn't know why she was crying. She was very unhappy. And sometimes you're in the shower and you just find you've broken down. You're in the office and you're losing your temper. You're triggered by such, things that would never have triggered you before.
Welcome back to the Woman Experience. First, I want to thank every single one of you that has subscribed. I think it's been over 1,000 in the last 2 weeks. It's amazing. I feel the love, and I want to assure you I will do my very best to bring you quality content and guests that will probably make you rethink your life and do better, because that's what we want to do. And today, I have a guest that I think will challenge you, a guest that I know if you do listen, take a book and a pen, this is one of those episodes. I kid you not. Today's guest is called Caroline Gikonyo. She is a life and transformational coach for women in leadership, a mastermind group facilitator for women in business. And since 2011, I'm reading because this woman, if we start to read her credentials, we might take a whole day, but I just took the things that I know for you will make you think like, why do I need to listen to her? So since 2011, she has quietly, and I mean quietly because she's such a force, coached hundreds of high achieving women, many of whom you'll never hear about, because why? They trust her, and Caroline gets them. So she helps overwhelmed, successful women who feel stuck find peace, find clarity, and confidence to rise to their next level without losing what matters most in their lives. She's also the creator of Break Free, Live Your Life program, founder of Nawiri, a safe, non judgmental community that's helping women elevate their lives. She also leads the Elevate Mastermind for expert solopreneurs, coaches, consultants who are ready to grow. She's been featured in True Love, Kayana. But you know what's Caroline's proudest work when she told me? It's helping women feel whole again. And she also told me she has 2 mantras that guide her mission. No step of your life's journey is ever wasted, and focus demands sacrifice. And today she will share with us why success doesn't have to cost your soul. So please help me welcome the bold, the brilliant, someone I would say is just so beautifully grounded, my mentor, and I consider her a friend now, Caroline Gikonyo. Karibu.
Wow, thank you, Edith. I want to meet me. I've listened to you and I'm like, I want to meet that person.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you
How
for
does it
having me
feel?
here.
How does it feel to be on set today?
Scared? You know me. You know how much I have avoided being on video for the years. And I think if it wasn't you, I probably would have said no, because I've said no before. And it feels like it's stepping off the cliff without a parachute. And maybe we'll build the parachute as we move along, or else flat on the ground.
Yeah.
That's the kind of feeling I'm having. But I'm also very excited to be here because this year I have chosen to step out from hiding behind the camera, hiding behind audio only, because I feel the messages that we have for women, especially, they need to be shared. And I'm stepping out scared. And also to show people that you don't have to hide if you have a message for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful, especially because of who you are to your clients. And I love that you're so vulnerable to say that I am not one to be in front of the camera. But first, I want you, because I don't think I've even done enough justice. How it is, how would you explain what you do for women?
Mm.
Yeah, and why?
Yeah. Is it what I do or I do for them or what I do with them? Because I think coaching is co-creation. The client really is in control, much as they may feel that the coach is the one guiding them. The coach is more of a facilitator, helping you to bring out the power that is in you, helping you to bring out those dreams. Sometimes there are dreams that you don't even want to talk about. Sometimes there are dreams that you talk about and you procrastinate on. And sometimes you didn't even know you have those dreams. You didn't even know you have the potential. So the coach is a facilitator and sometimes a guide, helping to bring that out. But once it's out, once it's here, then who takes the actions? It's you. So the coach walks with you, but they should shine a light for you to move forward. They shouldn't be the one holding your hand and dragging you, taking you wherever you said that you wanted to go. It's your goals, it's your dreams. So you are in control. So what do I do with women? It's exactly what you have said. You know, we tap into your inner power. And because I work with very successful women, these are women who have climbed hills and mountains, fallen down
They've done
through valleys.
everything.
Yeah, they've done everything. They have paid a very high price for the success they have today. But they have reached a point where, you know, you're losing out on so much. You're losing out on family, you're losing out on time with yourself, you're losing out on making friends because you've just been focused a lot on your growth. And now you say, I want growth, I want success, but I no longer want to trade it, you know, because when you're trading, when you move towards the personal growth, towards the family and all this, when you're moving there, then you're losing out on your success growth. And then when you move on this other side, then you're losing out with family. So you no longer want to have that seesaw. You want to have both in a balanced way. So that is what I do with my clients. Yes, we will chase success, we will have those big goals, but at the same time, we will remain grounded on what is most important. Why do I do this? My story is not from coming from the top and then being one of those women exactly. I was one of those women as they are growing up, moving up the success ladder. I had a very good career as a social science researcher. I was set to move to the next level, which was to start a PhD. And it would have taken me to levels that I can't even think about today. But at the same time, I was miserable. I loved my job. I loved my career. I loved the travel. I loved showing up in, you know, different forums. I hated being away from my family. I hated that my relationship was breaking up. And I really just hated that trade-off, you know, that I was talking about. And I reached a point where the pain of what I was losing out on was bigger than the success I was chasing. So I had to make a choice because once I say yes to starting on this journey, I cannot stop. I'll have to finish it. And I chose to exit employment and become a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And actually, the reason why I chose is because I was coming into the country after being away for 6 months. And one time we met with my husband at the airport. He was leaving, I was coming in.
Wow.
And then I was leaving again after 2 weeks.
Wow.
So who's bringing up our children? The nanny.
Yeah.
And another time I came home and they came to pick me up, the children and their dad, from the airport. And my younger child ran away from me because I'd been away for long and he had forgotten who I was. 6 months is a long time for a child.
Yes.
And my older son held onto my leg and he started crying and saying, Mami, usiende tena, don't go. So, you know, there are some instances in your life, there's some experiences that just break you. That broke me. And I remember I made a decision, I'm done. And I had to give in a 6-month notice because they had to train somebody to that level because there was nobody else in the institution. It was a relatively new career, and they needed someone up to speed. So when I made that trade-off, one of the things, the pain that came with it, I told myself I would love to help people not experience this. And also because I chose to go into business and the business failed, crashed and burned completely.
Yeah, which we'll also talk about.
So that's a whole
That's a whole
episode
episode.
on its own. So I know that when I listen to the women, these are the things they're talking about. I love my job. I love my career. I hate my job. I hate my career. What can I do? I'm missing out. My children are not talking to me.
Yeah.
My children are now teenagers. What do I do? There's a disconnect. My relationship is falling apart. I'm not at home. So all these challenges we're going through, is there a way out? Is there a way to balance? And when my business failed, I did some assessments. I worked with a life coach. I also worked with a career coach who mentored me. And we discovered that in my business, it didn't fail because I was not good at what I do. It failed because I didn't market. And secondly, I coached my clients without knowing that I was coaching them. So coaching came naturally. And all my customers excelled to this day. And we are talking about 2007 to 2009, and they're still excelling. So when I discovered that this is something natural, then out of that whole process, which took about 1.5, 2 years, that's how I came now into coaching. Yeah, so that's why I do it.
Yeah. And it's so powerful because, and I know we've sort of just talked a little bit about the breaking down, and I feel very strongly in my heart there's a woman that's going through that breaking down. And I know you've said it took like about 1.5 years, but with the work that you do for women, you have an idea of what that moment is like, or that time period is like. Are there some things you can let them know, like if this is happening, you don't have to take a drastic change, but just start to think, why am I feeling? Could you talk a bit about that period and that messiness and how it feels and looks like? Because it's there.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you're calling it a messiness. It's really messy. It's a mucky period. You're feeling pain on the inside and you don't know what the pain is. You find yourself crying. You don't know why you're crying. You know, one of my former clients told me she used to drive to work while crying. Yeah. And she didn't know why she was crying. She was very unhappy. And you know, sometimes you're in the shower and you just find you've broken down. You're in the office and you're losing your temper. You're triggered by such, you know, things that would never have triggered you before. But because there's this pain inside and there's this gap inside that you don't even understand. So you're trying to self-medicate in a way.
100%.
Yeah, so some women will, not just women, I mean, even men go through this. So some people will self-medicate by getting into drugs to, you know, fill that gap, to diminish the pain they're feeling, you know, for some time. Others will go to alcohol, others will indulge in, you know, vices, others will become workaholics.
Yes.
Others will just find things to do that take you away from the spaces where when you're in that space, you feel the pain.
Yes.
And a lot of times that space is home.
Wow.
Because home is where the pain is manifesting and it's where the gap is as you're trying to, you know, achieve all this. Where is the gap happening? It's happening at home. So we run away from home. We find things to do. We join chamas. We are traveling up and down the country. We are in the Women's Guild, very busy, you know.
The business of life.
The business of life, but now outside work. So we create business. You're busy, but you can't really, the gap still remains. So I think the first thing that you need to do is realize that there is a problem. And then the second thing, you know, most people will think, I can sort this out on my own. Self-help books, YouTube videos, you know, Google University. The shortcut is actually to seek professional help. And in most cases, it's not coaching. You know, women get surprised when they come to me and they say, I was sent to you by so and so, you helped her. And I tell them, I can't help you right now. You need to go for therapy. Get a counselor, get a therapist, sort this thing out.
Yeah.
Because whatever is manifesting now probably has roots in your past.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be mental, emotional trauma, you know, we don't know. And a coach can only take you from where you are today towards the future you envision. We don't dwell so much on your past, but you need to sort that out. And a therapist is the person that would help you.
Yeah.
So much as we don't want to hear about therapy, it's actually the shortcut. But now you have to get the right therapist for you.
Yes,
so maybe you may
yes.
need to, you know, talk to a few, trust your intuition.
Yeah.
If your intuition tells you this is not the right person, don't force yourself, no matter how, you know, glorious their CV is, no matter how recommended they come to you. Trust your intuition, because this is your life.
Yeah.
So sometimes you may not have such big emotional or mental trauma. You can actually work through it, maybe with a group. Maybe you can decide, let's you know, join a book club.
Yes.
And work on through a certain book.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can hang out with people. I've seen women in chamas do it together.
Yes.
Chama
yes.
therapy.
Yeah.
You know.
Chama therapy. Let's all come together.
Yeah, let's just sort out our stuff. As we are busy working on building our money, let's also sort out our stuff. Our mothers did it.
They did.
You know, chamas were therapy for them. And because they met in homes, you couldn't hide. There was no hiding. These chamas we are meeting in restaurants, you know, I don't know where.
Alcohol, where we just...
Exactly. And then we hide. So you can't see the real me. When I come to your house and your children are misbehaving, they will misbehave more sometimes when you have visitors. So I will see the real Edith. So that worked for our mothers, but it probably won't work for us. So get professional help. If your trauma is not so bad and you have a group of people you can work through, do it. Attend a class, you know, but seek help. And if a life coach is who could help you, then work with a life coach. But in most cases I've seen, at least for the people who have come to me, the ones that needed help in such an instance needed to go for therapy first. Yeah.
So now, you know, the successful career is gone. You're doing a lot of now, you know, trying to regain. Then you start this business that fails, like you said. So how do you move forward? Because now, and it happens so many times, because I remember at the time I left a very toxic job. Then there's this period that comes where you think, oh, now I'm winning. And then this other, you also don't win. So what you do is you start now, look, should I? You know, the should have, could have, should I have even left that marriage? Should I have left that job? Did I make the wrong decision? So what informed now this next step after the failed business and now the career is gone? And what are some of the tools you use now to get to this other level?
Now, the interesting thing is coaching was never in my radar. Actually, coaching was my best friend's career when I had the business that failed. And she would come and she would research, and she had a folder on my computer called coaching, and she put it on the desktop. And she used to tell me, you know, you need to check this thing out. I think it would be the best thing for you. And I remember at around that time, there was an MLM, multi-level marketing, called Success University, that was all about personal development. So we would get DVDs. I joined, and we would get DVDs, and I really enjoyed training my employees.
Is that the era of like the Tony Robbins, or it was way, way before?
Could be. We're talking 2008 Tuko. Yeah. So so I really enjoyed it, but I mean, it wasn't in my radar. Coaching was a very new career and business in Kenya, so there weren't many coaches. So my friend literally forced me to open that folder and check it out. And now when my business failed, and I actually hid for some time, licking my wounds, And then the question was, what's next? One, I knew I never want to be employed again.
Wow.
That was clear. You know, there's that line you draw in the sand and you say, I'm done. So I didn't want to be employed again. I also knew I didn't want a physical business, because one of the reasons the business failed was also the post-election violence. We had 6 months in 2008 without customers. So even the money you had kept aside for, you know, your buffer, it gets eaten up
Yeah, it
by
was
expenses.
gone.
It's
Yeah.
gone. And all that, you know, every election cycle in Kenya, we go through this business upheaval. So I knew I didn't want overheads. So as I was researching, then I came into virtual businesses, also a new concept in Kenya, very interesting. And then I did an assessment, I think it was by Brian Tracy, where you find the perfect career for you. And I think the top 4, I can't remember the order, but I know coaching was number 4. So now, remember, coaching was already somewhere whispering in my background.
The seed had been planted.
It had been planted and
Yes.
watered, because my friend really watered that seed. And then Success University had come. It was also watering. But I remember I had training, speaking, writing, and coaching. So those came, the 3 came before coaching. But then as I researched some more, my research skills really helped.
Yeah.
As I researched some more, I discovered that a coaching business can handle all 4. Because now I excel in them. Coaching is new. I've been training, I've been speaking, I've been writing, but I have never coached.
Yes.
So if this can handle, I can make money using the other 3 as I build my coaching skills. So that was the reasoning I had.
Yeah.
And luckily, my friend had a cousin who was a coach.
Wow.
And that's how I got a mentor coach. But at the same time, I don't know if you remember Peak Performance and the Firewalk.
Yes, that, you know, with the
Yeah.
Those were the early, you know, trailblazers.
Exactly. So what had happened, I was living in Mombasa, and I would get the newspaper and I would cut out, every year I would cut out that advert for Peak Performance, and I would say, I want to attend this thing. So I had it, what I would do is I would move it from each year's diary to the next one.
To the next one.
To the next one.
Yeah.
And then as I was doing that, I also came across neurolinguistics programming, also an advert in the newspapers, and I cut it out and it joined the Peak Performance one. So I kind of manifested what I wanted by just having those papers, those 2 cutouts in my diary. So when now my business is gone, there's no need to be in Mombasa anymore. My husband was in Nairobi, so I moved to Nairobi. Let the family be together, you know, and I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
You know, I can't afford any overheads. Yeah, so that's how I got to attend training in neurolinguistics programming. And it's how I got into Peak Performance and the Firewalk.
And you finally went to one of the Peak Performance.
I actually became one of the associate trainers.
Wow.
So it wasn't just doing the Firewalk. Now I learned how to take people through the Firewalk for free.
Yeah.
So now the mind is such a powerful thing.
It is.
And we don't know how much our desires, positive and negative, determine our future. So the desire to attend neurolinguistics programming training, the desire to do the Firewalk, it actually manifested both of them.
Wow.
Without too much effort.
Wow.
And all this was happening within a very short period. There's so much that happened between my business closing in April 2009 and me starting coaching in February 2011. Yeah. All this was happening at the same time. And when I got the mentor coach, we also evaluated what it is I could start with. What can you make money with? So she helped me create my first coaching program, which was helping women who are in employment start part-time businesses. Because that is what I should have done. I could have started a part-time business
as you were working.
As I was working, which my employer, I remember my boss telling me, why don't we scale down your work days? You know, work 3 days and then work on your business 2 days a week. Yeah, I said no. because I was done, and because my ego at that time was, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
You can't tell me what you think. Have you ever run a business? Those kinds of questions are what you're asking yourself. And sometimes people they'll give us a helping hand, and then we bite that hand off because we think we know.
Or you don't even realize how important that hand is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've actually never spoken about this. So if she sees this, if she watches this, she'll just be laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting back
Yeah.
on track, finding this career, getting into it, loving it so much, turning it into a business without overheads. So from the beginning, I've always worked virtually.
Yeah.
And initially it was phone calls. I was coaching on phone with a little bit of physical meetings. And then later with the pandemic, Zoom came in and changed the playing ground. Yeah. But that's how it's been now, the shift.
Wow. So one thing I'm hearing is, one, work through the messiness. Girl,
you have to work through the messiness.
You was listening to us on the camera. Because in the messiness, sometimes you can backtrack.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, let me now just go back to this scenario that was not serving me.
But it's easier.
And it's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier actually, because moving ahead sometimes will feel like you're pushing a wall. So work through the messiness, and then the sort of the people or the things aligned to your path, if you continue walking along, start coming your way. Like you had this newspaper, now you have peak performance, and then now so you sort of just start finding your way if you stick enough.
Yeah, sit in the mess.
In the mess.
Sit in the mess. Yeah. And I always tell people that let's sit in the mess, because sometimes, and I've been talking to you about seasons of late.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a messy season.
Very messy.
And transitions are messy.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a positive transition or a negative one, it is going to be messy. Even if it's a transition into something you have always wanted, moving from your comfort zone in this space that is painful, the shoe is pinching, but you know how to walk with this pinching shoe. So first you have to remove that shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you become so accustomed to it.
Yeah. And then you remove it and you discover, haya, kumbe it became deformed walking with this shoe. And now you have to unlearn how to walk with the shoe, and then learn how to walk again. And then now, you relearn how to walk again, and then now you learn how to walk with the new shoe, which has to be fitted in a way that it doesn't match the deformed shoe that you have removed. So you need to sit in the messiness. You need to cry in that messiness, and that's why you need help.
In the car.
Yeah, that's why you need help. Because if you don't have help, you may work your way through it, but if you don't have help, there's the potential to now go off the deep end.
Oh, yeah.
And we've seen people do that. So it may feel intrusive working with an expert. It may feel like you're spending money that you shouldn't be spending. Employers now have therapy as part of their medical cover, but people don't want to use it because the shame.
Yes.
You don't want to be
the one
labeled.
in the organization going to, yes.
But whose life is it? When at 3 a.m., who is crying with you?
In your pillow, yeah.
Yeah, who's crying with you? And by then I get those 3 a.m. messages. Hi, Caroline. My name is so-and-so. I was given your number by so when can we talk? When I see a 3 a.m. message, I know kimeumana. This person is in a place of deep pain. Yeah. And so I need to find, even if my schedule is busy, I need to create time to just have a 30-minute call with them.
Oh,
yeah. So sit in the mess.
Sit in the mess.
Yeah.
Sit in the mess. And also, I love how you sort of labeled these tools that are available, especially for successful women, like therapy, like coaching, as shortcuts, because you don't have to drag out this mess for years. Because you take the risk of, if you don't do something about it, you retire miserable, And the other thing I also picked up from you with your failed business we are not saying that because you're miserable at work, that work is a problem.
No.
Because you said, I started a business, but there were certain business principles for a physical business or for whatever business that you did not get right.
Yeah.
So it's not just about waking up and leaving that thing. It is understanding, even when you're at work, can I start a side business? Or is it maybe the organization I'm in, or even where I am, how can I thrive? How can I do better?
Exactly.
And I want you to emphasize on that because it's so important. Because we are living in a world where it's either A or B. And people think when you're coming to coaching, you'll be told, oh yeah, leave that job, leave that marriage, leave that. Can you explain that idea of first get your mind right and things right, then make a decision?
Mindset is everything. Always start on your mindset. And, mindset is not just about, affirmations, and prayers. So mindset comes first. Always work on your mindset. Now, the thing is, leaving a situation is actually the easiest solution, but it's not the most transformative unless you're in danger. So actually, I have had clients whom I have told, you need to leave this job. You need to find a way of exiting from this job because it's killing you. And probably that's the time I'll tell them, okay, we need to pause your coaching and now you need to go for therapy because this job is harming you. And some have managed to leave. Others have said, no, I can't leave. I can't look for another job. Yes. I can't work with a therapist. Then there's nothing much I can do, I can't be a crutch because now you're looking for a crutch.
It is true.
Yeah. Marriage is a big one, so my husband, my wife is a problem, all this, all that. But the question is, are you taking responsibility of the 50% of this mess that belongs to you?
Wow.
Yeah. Because sometimes even letting the other person, make decisions, it means you're okay with the decisions they make. So later, when you come back and complain, but you allowed it to happen. So you take responsibility. There's 50% of the mess that actually belongs to me.
And that's a hard one.
It's a very hard one. It's a really, really hard one. You go look in the mirror and tell yourself, yeah, there's a problem here, but I also need to acknowledge my role in making it reach this point. But now, if again, in your relationship, we use the word marriage, it covers relationship. If your relationship is physically abusive, then you need to leave.
Yes.
Because you're in danger. Yeah. If the emotional and mental abuse have reached a point where now you're getting sick, now you're contemplating suicide or homicide, sometimes. Yeah.
And with what's happening in the country, it's a clear sign.
Yeah. Then you need to leave. You need to find a safe space where you can heal and you can now map your new way forward, because you cannot map a new way forward without first healing and without forgiveness. Yeah. And the biggest part of forgiveness is forgiving yourself. You will heal, and then now you start judging yourself. The woulda, coulda, shouldas, and then now, how did I let this happen? Why couldn't I see this? When Edith told me this, I should have listened to her. Then you start beating yourself up. So there's forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself.
Yes.
And forgiveness for anyone who hurt you,
yeah.
knowingly or unknowingly. Because sometimes just by being alive, we hurt people. As you live your life, you will unknowingly hurt people. Yeah. And sometimes you will knowingly hurt them. Let's just
be honest.
Let's be honest. Yeah, so you cannot move far and have a balanced life, a happy life, a fulfilled life, if you do not sort these things out. And mindset is the first step. So find a way to sort out your mindset. And again, I will send you back to therapy. Sometimes that's where you need to start.
Yeah.
Sort out that mucky stuff. And then another thing, and we were just talking about it the other day, we don't know how many layers down the stuff is.
Yes.
Yeah, so we sort out the top layer.
We think it's the job, but then...
Yeah, and then you sort it out, and now you go into a great season, things are moving, you're happy, and then suddenly another layer comes up. So some of the challenges we have they actually have layers. So you may need more help, and it will feel so bad when you hit this new wall because the wall is familiar. I've been in this kind of situation before.
And I sorted
And
it.
I sorted it. Why is it here
Back, yeah.
again? And sometimes you'll hit that wall at 100 kilometers per hour. You didn't see it coming. It's like it just came from nowhere, you know. So when you realize this is where I am, you take a step back and you look at it and you realize, yes, it feels familiar, but it is not. It looks familiar, but I can see this is a bit different. So what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
And the moment you change your question from why me? Why is this happening again? And you ask, what am I going to do about it? What do I need to do about this? Who can help me?
Yes.
How can I get a solution because I want to cross this?
Yes.
And now there's another level of messiness that people probably are not aware of. So you achieve success in whatever area. If you are working on your relationship, suddenly it's successful. But remember, when you achieve success, now you go to a new level. It's a new level, but before you were a university graduate or even a professor at the level you've left. Now the new level, you are kindergarten.
Because you've gotten now, it's a whole new.
It's a whole new world.
Yes.
You have to learn, it's like a jungle. You have to learn this jungle. You have to learn the animals. You have to learn the spoken and unspoken, there's so much that's in this jungle, and suddenly you've been thrust there. So it may feel like you've regressed, but in reality, you haven't. So that's why it's important when you're in this, you find yourself in this messy space, take a step back. Look at the mess. Is it a growth mess or is it a regression mess? Or is it a new problem mess,
I love that.
So take a step back, just look at it. And this is where mindset comes in, because you have to be really strong mentally and emotionally to actually force yourself to take a step back. So you've cried. You have, you've recriminated, you have done all that stuff, and then now it's time for solutions. It's time to move. Wow. And you have to force yourself to get to that step. And now that's when the people you need, they show up. That's when you will call Caroline at 3 a.m. Send her a message, and she'll tell you, no, actually, I'm not your solution, but I know who can help you. Yes. So the village will show up when you take that step back. As long as you're alive, there's always something to learn. There's always something to experience. And the older you get, there's something to give back, because we have a responsibility to give back. And wisdom sometimes, I've met very young people who are very wise, but in most cases, wisdom comes with age. So the older you get, the more responsibility you have to go back. Teach the ones who come behind you. Help them not get into some traps that people don't have to, the ones who come after us, they don't have to go through the pain we went through.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go back and, nurture and mentor and grow other people. Yeah,
especially like I think of my daughter. I think I spoke in another episode. I was like, I want my daughter to see what showing up and being brave looks like.
Yeah.
That if her mother can do this and be on YouTube at 40, then probably in her time, whatever it will be, she can do it much earlier.
She can do it.
One of the things because I wanted to start with your story and then we'll get to part 2, is a lot of your life has been pegged on, you say, and I know that you work with a lot of high successful clients, people that are unseen. And so you're the space bearer, you stand in the gap for them.
Yeah.
But how does it look like for you, who is holding space for others? What are you doing? Because there could be someone who's listening that you're in spaces where you're holding light for others or space for themselves. In this season of your life, as you think about your story and where you are now, having sort of come full circle, and you still have a lot to learn, like you said, but what does holding space and light for yourself look like?
For me, a coach, and this is something I learned from one of my very early mentor coaches. A coach without a coach is not a coach.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get coached
Mm-hmm.
at least once every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at an area of my life that I feel needs growth, and I identify it could be a business problem. Not really problem. We don't always go for coaching because we have a problem to solve.
Yes.
Sometimes it's because you've hit a dead end, or maybe you know it's time to grow, but you're scared. So I identify if it's a business problem, if it's a growth point. If it's business, I work with a business coach.
Yes.
If it's specific like marketing, I will work with a marketing coach. If it's, I have a life coach I have worked with since 2014.
Wow.
I am always looking for coaches who will grow me, who will mentor me also. And then I read a lot. I write a lot, because sometimes I write stuff and then I'm like, wow, I need to do that.
Yes.
You could be writing something for other people and then you realize you were actually writing it for
you.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I go back to my blog sometimes and read some of those articles and I'm like, I need to do that, because growth never ends. Maybe it worked at that time, but now I need to do it again. And then I have the two most lovely support system people, my sisters. And, you know, they tell me as it is. To them, there is nothing like Caroline Gikonyo, the coach. Yeah, she is the coach. They send me referrals,
Yeah.
and I've even coached them before.
Yeah.
But they'll come and tell me as it is, personally, in business, in any area of my life. And I really love that we are able to hold space for each other. And then I'm in a book club. It's called the Ladies Book Breakfast Forum, and it has about 880 members now.
Wow.
It's a virtual book club, and there are groups. I think each group has about 14 to 18 members. So my group specifically, it's called the African Cherry Group, because we are named after trees, African trees. And this is a group for women over 50.
Wow.
We have specifically chosen to just have a group of women over 50 because we felt that the other groups we were feeding too much, feeding people too much, and as we are not getting fed.
Yeah, you also need to be fed.
Yeah, and the challenges we were going through were different from the ladies in their 30s and 40s. So we chose to just ask, can we have a group of our own? And I think this is our third year now. So that's my Saturday therapy. We have our meetings at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Wow.
Almost everybody shows up, and that tells you something. We are self-regulated, and sometimes we do call each other out. So that is the chama for me, that really our mother's chama, the one that was helping them talk things out. Because the books that we read, no matter the book, I mean, even Biko's book, Let Me Call You Back, we still found stuff that helped us beyond just the humor. So that's a space that I really cherish. And hi, my fellow ladies in the book club. I have to give them a shout out because they've really helped me grow. I have a friend who's a therapist, and we help each other through. Sometimes I may feel I need something that is more therapy related, and she will help me work it out. And sometimes she will need something that's business related, and I will help her out with business coaching. So I seek help, and I attend courses a lot. And there are some mentor coaches that I follow online. The thing is, I know I cannot afford them right now because they're pretty expensive, but they share so much. They share content, they have webinars, and they have webinars where they teach. They don't just come and give you fluffy stuff on the surface. They go really deep. So I attend those classes. And I am also in masterminds. So that's an area that can really help you grow, because a mastermind is not about coaching. It's not about training. It's about being with people who are like-minded and you have goals that are moving in the same direction.
Yes.
So you talked of Elevate Mastermind, which is, it's a mastermind I host for solopreneur women.
Yeah.
And like this year, we are working on launching a semi-passive income stream, specifically e-courses. And I started that because I've been talking of launching e-courses, but I'm not doing it. So I created a mastermind and I make some money along the way. So these are some of the things that you can do, some of the spaces you can be. Then we have Nawiri, our community of women. And Nawiri is, it's very dear to my heart because it's an idea I had for 12 years.
Wow.
Just create a safe space for women where women can connect. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. But we are starting, there's a basic level because we need to kind of feel like it's homogeneous. And we just hang out together, you know, we learn together, we grow together. So there's so much that's available today.
To women.
Not just to women, to anybody who is seeking a space where you can grow. And these are some spaces I immerse myself in. Now, I want to give a caveat here. I'm at a space in my life where I have time. My children are grown. They are 21, almost 21, and the other one is 23. So my children don't need me in the same way your children need you. The seasons of life. So in this season I'm in right now, and I have invested heavily already in my children. In this season, mom is free. Mom. In fact, the question is, what will mom do next? So
because mom is doing things.
So it may look like I'm in so many spaces. It may look like I'm doing so much, but I'm also free. So if you're a mother and a wife and you have young children and you're a career woman, you have this team you're leading, or you have this business that you're growing, and then you're trying to do what Caroline Gikonyo is doing because she said it works for her, it will fail.
That's why coaching helps.
Coaching helps. And again,
to give you that mindset, the perspective, for you to do self-mastery, you know, to tell someone,
know yourself, know yourself, know your season, and don't try to copy
and paste,
and don't try to, what did we call it this time? We were doing that, there was a program we were doing, expertise to income, when you are you're just looking at everyone, whatever it is they're doing, and you want it. You want it.
You put it in the basket,
shopping, and then you create something that's so many, it's a patchwork. It's not unique. So you have to find what is unique to you. You are a unique being. You came unique. So there must be something that's unique to you.
Wow. So in your story, have a lot of grace, compassion for yourself. Understand your season. And then once you're there, try to find spaces like for you, the book club, for you, your mentors. Try to find your tribe and people that are now holding that light up and carrying, you know, for you. And for each of us, it looks very different. I love how you've put it, because it's also easy for someone to come to my YouTube channel and think this is copy-paste. But I think one of the things that I really try to do is self-mastery. Where are you? How are you? And how are you showing up? And don't look at others. As we end, because I really wanted to start with your story for you. And I think I love how you've broken down coaching. So people have also a mentality that coaches are these people who just want your money. In fact, a lot of good coaches turn you down. If you're not their client, if you're not right, they will either send you somewhere else or say, I am not for you. And you've demystified what that looks like. Where are you thinking? So you're in your 50s, you're doing all these amazing things, working with successful women, tech lover, you know, with your knitting and all. What does legacy and impact look like for you? And you talk about all the other amazing programs, Nawiri, but what are you looking forward to in the years to come?
Wow, that's what I'm working on right now, because it's a new season for me. And there's a season that's coming up. You know, that's another thing that I am learning. I'm learning how to work with people going through transitions. I'm also learning to work through my own transitions before they, you know, you see the transition coming sometimes.
Yes.
So for me, the empty nest transition is coming in the next 2-3 years. I'm a single mom. So what does that mean for me? I'll be alone. So Okay, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know about
Yeah.
God's timing, but all things remaining constant. My children are leaving home. I'm a mother of boys. So girls take care of their parents.
Yes.
Yeah. Boys marry, and if their wives decide to take care of their parents,
Yeah.
they will.
They will.
So the
Yeah.
realities that I'm looking at now, I need to ask myself, what are these realities that are coming? They're coming.
Yes.
Yeah, and then God willing, there will be daughters-in-law, there will be babies in the
Yes.
next 5-10
Yeah.
years. So who do I want to show up as in this
Wow.
season that my children are getting into? And who do I want to show up as in this season that I am getting into? Because there are transitions that will come almost at the same time. But if I don't choose who I want to show up as, then who will I show up as?
Yeah.
So I don't want to leave it to chance. And it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's actually exciting once I got over that whole, oh my gosh, tumezeeka.
Yeah.
And, I want to show up in a way that's powerful, not just for me, but for everyone concerned.
Yeah.
But I also want to show up real.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I always think about your story, Caroline, it's really a story of dreaming, audacity, because your voice is so soft, but yet you pack a punch. And I think everyone who's had an encounter with you can testify how, I think because your story is so authentic, you do not cut corners. You really help people just cut to the chase of how they could, rethink their lives. And we have a lot to discuss. So this is the end of part 1. In the description box, we are going to leave links and the description of how you can reach Caroline. And, hopefully those of you that do, you might work with her, you might not, or maybe even just subscribe to her newsletter, which I know you do really share amazing things. And stay tuned for part 2. But please do share, do subscribe. It tells the algorithm we are onto something amazing. And I'll see you next time on The Woman Experience. Bye-bye.